Every empire says its money is safe, and every government promises stability, until one day, it's not. From ancient gold coins to modern bank accounts, people have watched savings shrink, salaries fail, and trust vanish overnight. Collapse isn't rare. It happens again and again. The real question is not, will systems fail, but how does a person protect wealth when trust breaks? Money is not bedrock. Money is trust, and trust can disappear fast. The gold coin everyone trusted. For hundreds of years, the Byzantine Empire ran on a gold coin called the solidus, widely accepted across Europe and the Middle East because it kept its purity and weight consistent. Over time, rulers started lowering the gold content step by step, less purity, more cheap metal, until the coin people once trusted became doubtful in trade. By the 1000s, its quality fell so much that the system needed a reset, leading to a new coinage reform to restore trust. When leaders dilute money, trust breaks. Value runs to things that cannot be faked, like real gold and land. When plague flips the economy. The Black Death in the 1300s was a human disaster, but it also changed the economy in surprising ways. Half the population died in some regions, and labor became scarce and valuable. In many places, wages went up, and survivors could bargain better, while land and homes were easier to acquire because there were fewer buyers and fewer hands to work fields. The pattern is clear. If someone had cash or goods during crisis, they could buy assets cheaply and climb the ladder. Modern echo: during COVID, supply chains broke, money printing spiked, and those with liquidity bought assets while others fell behind. The same wealth shift in a new form. Crises move wealth from people without reserves to those who prepared with cash, skills, or assets. The fall of too big to fail. In the 1340s, Florence was Europe's finance powerhouse, with banks that lent to kings until a major royal debtor stopped paying and famous houses like the Bardi and Peruzzi collapsed. Depositors and merchants discovered that big names and long histories don't guarantee safety when debts go bad. Confidence fell, credit dried up, and ordinary people paid the price when the dominoes fell. Institutions exist to make profit, not to ensure anyone's survival. Too big to fail often fails the moment trust ends. When paper money breaks. During the American Civil War, both sides printed huge amounts of paper currency to fund the war. The North's greenbacks and the South's graybacks lost purchasing power as more notes flooded the economy. In the Confederacy, inflation went wild, and by the end, salaries bought almost nothing. Paper promises failed while real goods held value. People who owned land, food, or metal did better than those holding cash. In wartime or crisis, printed money can lose value fast. Tangible goods resist inflation better. Revolution, paper, and food. In 1790s France, the new government issued assignats, paper notes backed by confiscated land, but printed so many that prices shot up and trust collapsed. Farmers refused paper and demanded silver or goods. Riots returned, and the notes became nearly worthless. People who held property, metal, or food retained real value when paper failed. Paper relies on trust. When confidence breaks, only things people will trade for matter. Debt in someone else's money. In 1997, Thailand's currency peg broke, and the shock rippled across Asia. Countries with big dollar debts suddenly owed far more in their weakened local currencies. Jobs vanished, currencies fell against the dollar, and the hardest hit were ordinary households whose savings lost purchasing power. Those who held dollars or assets abroad suffered less than those tied entirely to local money. Owing money in a foreign currency is dangerous. The debtor carries the risk when exchange rates break. The banks locked the doors. From 2019 onward, Lebanon's economy plunged. Banks limited withdrawals, deposits were frozen, and the currency lost over 90% of its value relative to previous levels. Families with savings trapped in banks watched their purchasing power collapse over years while access stayed restricted. People who diversified abroad, held property, or kept some cash outside the system navigated the chaos better than those who relied only on local banks. A bank account is a loan to a bank. In crisis, access can be delayed or denied for years. Patterns that repeat. Debasement breaks trust. Real assets preserve value. Shocks like pandemics push assets to prepared hands. Liquidity becomes power. Big institutions can fail fast. Size is not safety. Paper money can be inflated, but goods, land, and metal resist better. Foreign currency debt multiplies risk in a currency crash. Bank access can be restricted. Diversification outside one system matters. These aren't one-off events. They repeat across eras and regions with different names but the same core mechanics. Practical Protection Blueprint. This is not financial advice. It's a historical strategy map drawn from repeated patterns. Keep a slice of wealth in things that can't be printed: precious metals, productive land, or durable goods with real demand. Maintain emergency liquidity for downturns. Cash at the right time buys assets cheap. Avoid heavy debt in foreign currency unless income is also in that currency. Match assets and liabilities where possible. Diversify banking exposure. Multiple institutions, some funds outside the local system, and consider jurisdictions with stronger rule of law. Build practical, tradable skills that produce value even when money loses meaning. Food, repair, logistics, digital services with global clients. Understand that institutions protect themselves first. Set personal rules that assume delays, limits, and surprise fees in crises. Combine real assets, liquidity, diversification, and skills to withstand shocks and act when others can't. Opportunity inside crisis. After the Black Death, laborers negotiated better pay and sometimes acquired land because the land-to-people ratio changed in their favor. After housing crashes or panics, cash buyers obtain property at lower prices, while leveraged owners sell under pressure. Crises are transfers from the unprepared to the prepared. Protection is not just defense. It's also positioning to buy quality assets when fear is high and prices are low. The deeper edge, production. People still need food, shelter, tools, energy, transport, and digital infrastructure in every crisis, and those who can produce or maintain essentials rarely stay poor for long. In history, bakers, farmers, craftsmen, merchants, and today's builders, coders, fixers, and operators who keep things running become more valuable when systems strain. Skill plus reliability creates income even when formal finance stumbles. What someone can do is often safer than what someone holds on paper. Closing challenge. History doesn't ask for belief. It leaves patterns in plain sight. Debasement breaks trust. Debt entraps borrowers. Size doesn't mean safety, and banks can shut the window when needed. The choice is simple: hold only promises, or also hold things and skills that keep value when promises break. If this shifted perspective, tap subscribe. History has the answers. This channel shows where to look next.